Hello, I'm Kiran. Now school starts tomorrow, so if you're anything like me, this evening is going to be all about getting prepped and getting ready for the start of term. Now my little one, Milan, isn't at school but he's at nursery, and what we do 3 days a week is I go to work, he goes to nursery in the morning, and my little girl Jasmine is looked after by my mum. But we leave home at 7:30 in the morning, which makes it really hectic. And so what I thought I'd talk about today is basically our morning routine and how we manage to get out of the door so early. So it's pretty manic, it doesn't always work, but in an ideal world this is what I do. We've been doing it since August when I went back to work, so we've had a few months to practice it, and I'm hoping that this term we have a lot more smoother mornings. So our tips for getting ready to get out of the door on time in the mornings. The first thing is basically all the prep happens the night before. Without the prep the night before, the day is ruined from the start. So the things I do the night before is I make sure the kids have been bathed, and so none of that needs to happen in the morning. I get a shower the night before as well. If I get time for one in the morning before they wake up, that's a bonus. But actually, to be honest, normally it's just the night before. The next thing I do is get all our clothes ready. Now I can't spend ages in the morning choosing what to wear, so I choose what I'm wearing the night before, and I thought I'd show you actually the kind of thing I wear, which is usually a dress. That's usually my work wardrobe, because it's easy to put on in the morning. I don't have to worry about matching bits and pieces, so I've got a wardrobe really of dresses that I wear to work, and I just change which one I'm wearing each day. So that doesn't take much thinking about. I get the kids' clothes ready as well, so things like this. They both have a pile by their cot or by their bed, so in the first thing in the morning I know exactly what to get on them, and there's no faffing about and thinking about and trying to find stuff. They know the drill as well. I think that's the other thing that's really important. Once you kind of get a routine going and they know what's going on, you know what's going on, and it makes the morning a little bit less stressful. But anyway, going back to the night before, the other thing I do, as well as getting all of our clothes ready, is I get our meals ready. So Milan gets fed at nursery, which is great. How much he eats is a different thing, but he does theoretically get fed there. I get my packed lunch ready, and I leave a meal for Jasmine either on the side or in the fridge, and then that's ready for her in the day as well. So all of that happens the night before, so I don't have to worry about meal prep in the morning. And the other thing I do the night before is I get my bag ready. So this is my work bag. It's huge. It carries a whole lot of stuff that I have to basically get organised the night before, because otherwise I just don't have time to run around in the morning, and it stresses me out worrying about what I might have or might forget. So all of the prep, as I say, is done the night before. In the morning I always set an alarm. I probably don't need to. The kids wake up at 6 o'clock without fail, but on the odd occasion where they've slept in, it's typical, isn't it? I've not set an alarm and the whole system gets out of whack. So even though they wake up at 6, sounds like we've got a long time to leave 7:25, but actually it's pretty manic always. So I set the alarm for 6 o'clock, and that gives me lots of time to, the first thing I do actually is put my makeup on, because that's something I find really hard to do once they're awake. So if I've got time before they're awake, I'll do that. Otherwise they wake me up and we get started with the routine of bottles and then play for a little while. I really love having that time in the morning where before the day starts, really, before they go off and I go off. So we have a bit of time each morning where we're upstairs. It's kind of, while one's getting ready, the other's playing, and everything's, all the stress has been taken out of that morning because we did all the prep the night before. So there's a bit of time for that, and we do all of that stuff upstairs, and then we go downstairs for breakfast at 7 o'clock, and that, it sounds so regimented, but it's just got to be that way. I guess that's when they're hungry. That gives us loads of time before we need to leave, and I feed them one at a time, which sounds daft when they're 3 and 1.5, but it just means I know that they both get fed and they both get their porridge. I'm I guess a bit over organised. Sometimes I'll measure out their porridge the night before, that they both have 3 tablespoons, and it's one thing. Another thing, that if it's done, it's really helpful. We're not faffing about with getting breakfast organised. It's done. We just need to pour the milk and microwave it, and it's ready. The kids know what they have each morning, so there's no room for messing about, for asking for other things. this is the drill, and they know at 7 o'clock we go downstairs, we have our porridge, done. The other thing I do in the morning is things like this: books, iPad, TV, whatever I need to do basically. If they are, if one of them's playing up with their breakfast, I'll use what I need to keep the other one entertained. If it's not their toys, they can sit with a book, or I've got no problems with putting CBeebies on all morning. It helps us get out the door and it works, so that's what we do. The other thing that's really important, and actually I've got one right here, is coffee. I have to make time for making my coffee in the morning because I know that without it the whole day is going to fall apart. So in fact I should put that on the top of the list as the most important thing to do for getting out of the door on time with kids. By the door I have a list which I look at each morning. It's got stuff like nursery photo, get your lunch out of the fridge, get Jasmine's lunch out of the freezer, all that kind of stuff, which if it isn't there and I forget it, it's just going to make life a little bit more difficult. So I love having lists. I've written a list which is reminding me what to talk about right now. I use lists in the morning to make sure that we don't forget stuff. Life kind of falls apart without a list at our place, so that's really important for me in the morning. The other stuff I do is I have everything ready by the door that we're going to need to get out of it. So things like hats and gloves, shoes, keys, Milan's nursery bag, which is again packed the night before with a change of clothes. All of that stuff is ready for us to literally pick up and go. My keys are always in the same place because otherwise I run around like a mad thing trying to find them and we lose 5 minutes. So I think that's kind of the main stuff for getting us out of the door in the morning. I would say that the key thing is to be really, really organised the night before. Spend 20 minutes or half an hour getting clothes out, getting food prepped, getting things like your cereals measured out. It sounds a bit ridiculous, getting stuff by the door, but it saves so much time in the morning. And what that means is time saved in the morning means you're all calm and a bit more relaxed. You're not starting the day running around the house like crazy looking for things. Toddlers will be toddlers. There are always times when, say, one of them won't get their shoes on or their coat, but if you're not worrying about the other stuff, I just find it's a bit easier to manage the, those kind of unknowns that might occur, because they do. And I guess just to reiterate that my important thing in the morning is coffee. Do whatever works for you, but those are my tips. If you've got tips, if you all manage to get yourselves out of the door and ready for the day in some miraculous way that is calm and organised and without any stresses, we would love to hear about them. So do let us know, and that's all. Good luck for the start of term. Bye.